Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks Some More. Just to let you know, I uploaded a video last night, an 11-minute lockdown news roundup. Don't know if you caught it. It's not available on YouTube due to censorship, but it's on hugotalks.com. Come and subscribe to hugotalks.com to get notifications when I upload videos there. So, you can't deny the human spirit. No matter what these science boffins and psychological manipulators think, it doesn't matter because you can't deny it. And this story really, I think, shows how out of touch these boffins are. Here we have, in the Sports Bible, fans could be encouraged to stamp their feet instead of cheering at Euros this summer. This will be football matches which they expect you now to go with your jib-jab passport and wearing a mask, yeah? If this tempts you into complying, then you are truly lost. But let's see what this says. It says, fans at European Championship fixtures this summer could be encouraged to stamp instead of cheer, reports say. However, as ministers debate rules going forward, the Times says there could still be some measures in place in a bid to prevent transmission of the virus. One controversial suggestion from Professor Dame Teresa Martau of the University of Cambridge, a behavioural scientist leading the scientific group overseeing pilot events, is for fans at games to stamp their feet and clap instead of chanting. So here we have another boffin. And would it surprise you to know that this Dame Teresa comes from the University of Cambridge, the very same university that has received a staggering 210 million in donations from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Now, would that surprise you at all? Would it? No, of course not. Anyway, she says, it would be essential to create new norms for sport and music fans. While it is a basic norm of many sports crowds that people express passionate support for their team, and without that, the whole activity has little meaning. But, she says, it may be possible to develop new and distinctive ways of expressing that passion by stamping and clapping, which she says are at lower risk than shouting or singing. Then she suggests to learn from the Black Lives Matter movement in how to weave a COVID-secure message in the fabric of sporting events, making social distancing and mask wearing an inherent part of what it means to be a fan of a team. So here we have a Gates-funded science boffing trying to remove everything that is fun, that is natural from going to a large sporting event. Oh, we don't want you to sing or to shout or to call the referees a wanker. You can't do that. That's dangerous. But I tell you what you can do instead. You can stamp your little footsies up and down and clap like good little obedient slaves. How about that? These people, these sage science boffins, either are intent on sucking the life out of everything that makes living fun and essential, or they are just so woefully out of touch with the real world that they honestly think that this is possible. How could you make, at this specific time right now, how could you get massive crowds to not shout and to not sing at a football match? How could you change the behaviour of crowds? Something that they have been doing for decades. It's pretty much impossible. You can't deny the human spirit. This is where these people, I believe, will fail. They have spent so much time swatting over books, analysing, applying psychological and social behaviour, giving their life over to science and number crunching. They have ended up becoming soulless, vapid, lifeless intellectuals who have forgotten what it is to be alive, and they have not accounted for the human spirit because it's unquantifiable. It's the fire burning within each and every one of us. It's the metric they can't identify, and therefore they can't measure it. And it's that spirit that they are afraid of. It's that spirit that you saw last weekend at the Freedom March. It's that spirit that will stop this if we are united. And at this moment, we are in a world of very many sleepy people who are in need of awakening. And as the days go by, though, more people are getting clued up as time goes on. So the fact that this boffin thinks that a big football crowd will change their behaviour, will be quiet and stamp their feet in approval instead, really shows how detached they are from real people at this moment. But then you have the future to think about. And then you have the passport. That's where this story can change. Now there is another lesson to be learned from this. The jib-jab passport that these people want you to get so that you can go to your football match, so that you are allowed to go to a big gig, so you can go to whatever it is. We all know their intentions of what they want to do with this passport, of joining this with many other factors and elements, when in the future they want to include social credit scores, like they have in China, which makes it easy for the government to moderate and modify the behaviour of the public. Basically, get them to do whatever they want. And then you have the carbon footprint measuring, which MasterCard are bringing in, and a digital ID framework. All your finances incorporated within all of this in one app. And if you people out there are stupid enough to accept this digital entrapment, never mind what they say about it being temporary, that's nonsense. If you're stupid enough to accept it, then they could force you into keeping quiet at events. How could they do that? Because if you did make a noise, they could identify you, probably using the facial recognition, or from the ticket you ordered, which all of them details will be incorporated within your app, because all of your finances will be incorporated into the app. And then they can fine you and take your money directly from your bank, because your bank will be incorporated into the app. With this new system, which will involve the cashless society they are planning, which I hope never happens, that's the future they want. That's how they could implement this. They would probably start off by docking everyone in the audience points if there was too much noise coming from certain people. And they would probably then hope, because the greater part of the crowd didn't want to lose points from their social credit score, that the crowds would then end up policing themselves, and groups there would tell anyone making a noise to be quiet. As we all don't want to lose points, and therefore, if you lose points, of course, you'd be losing access to services or discounts or whatever it is they weave into this digital tyranny they have planned. So this is a good example, a good way of showing how much control these systems will have over your behaviour collectively in events such as these. So yeah, a good example. That should make anyone with a functioning brain say no to these passports. You can see the science boffin wants people to stop cheering and instead to stamp their feet instead to show approval. They may even suggest in the future you hold up signs. Can you imagine that? Wouldn't that be fun? Oh, yes, boo, a big sign over your head. But then you think, how on earth could they get people to do that? There's no way. But then when you add the passports into that, the future of these passports and the whole app to rule them all, with the banking, the social credit score, the access to services, the cashless society, controlling your life, the facial recognition, the surveillance system powered by 5G all around you. You can see how that could be possible. You could see how they could control your life so much. That's the level of control you would be giving over to the government if you accept this passport. But hopefully, people will see how foolish it would be for them to go down that route. As always, thanks for listening. Come and subscribe to the tribe at hugotalks.com, a place where the free thinking people are, who are not spellbound by the negative mainstream media mantra, who are not scared of living their lives free of the thought police. I'll see you later.